Okay, we're live again. Now these people have probably watched the first video that we did. In fact, some of the names that came up, Cindy from Chicago, I know she's a supporter, she'll be watching. And we'll just make sure that
Cindy.
Yeah, hi again. Let us know, get talking to us. You've got the mayor here, and in case you didn't watch the first bit, we're standing on Rue des Bars, one of the oldest streets, and this is the mayor of the 4th arrondissement, Ariel Weil. Okay, people are starting to tune in. Give us a comment, let us know that everything's working, and then you promised a 3-bridge walk.
Yes, absolutely. And before we exit, we're on the other side. We started the Rue des Bars the other side, and I told you a few things about the Rue des Bars historically, but I kept something. You asked me to keep something secret. I just forgot to say it, but now I'll say it. Rue des Bars has something to do, the name has something to do with the walls that surrounded the center of Paris. You know that Paris was built throughout. It was a succession of expansions from the l'île de la Cité, the island of the city, which we're gonna walk to in a minute.
Let's walk and talk as we go. But
so
you know, I'm fascinated by the walls.
Something to do with the walls. And you know, we're building a garden right now. We've started constructing a garden, and that garden is just a 5-minute walk from here. We found a wall that dates back to Charles V.
Really? Hang on, where is this?
This is Place. It's called Place Teilhard de Chardin, and it's right by. If we walk down the banks, the upper banks of the Seine River, we'll get to there.
Why didn't you tell me that? Should we cross?
Yes, let's cross. I think we still hurry up. Let's hurry up.
Why didn't you tell me you had a wall? I love walls. You got a secret wall, and you're only telling me now?
We have walls. We have most noticeably we have l'enceinte de Philippe Auguste.
No. I am the biggest fan of the Philippe Auguste wall.
I've seen some of your shows on that specific question, but I don't understand why you went to the 5th arrondissement when you can find the most beautiful pieces in the 4th.
Because I did a whole show exploring the whole right bank, and then I went over to find it. But I love it here. Like it's one of my.
The left bank side.
Let's address some of these things. Cindy says it's negative 22 degrees Celsius in Chicago.
Well, it's a little bit warmer here then.
Negative 22? Yeah. That can't be right. That's, oh my goodness.
She's talking Fahrenheit. We're talking Celsius.
No, but she said
here.
C. She said C. Wow, maybe she's talking Fahrenheit. And James McPherson, waking up to a walk show is better than coffee. Well, let's put the pressure on us. Shall we show what we're looking at, perhaps?
Yeah. One of the most beautiful sites in the world. I think we can say that.
I think so too.
It's probably true.
I mean, I've got the camera on us. No one cares about seeing us when there's a walk like this.
Yes, this is one of the. So you're seeing something, by the way, on the banks. We're watching here the lower banks of the Seine River, which you know was a victory from the mayor of Paris. She succeeded over the courts in making this pedestrian. That's a big change.
Because it went back and forth, didn't it?
It went back and forth. There were court decisions that were made, but she's finally seems that she's finally won. On that pretty strong decisions. But I think everyone in the center of Paris is pretty much in favor and supporting that decision to stop having this a highway, making this a highway. But think about it, it was crazy. This was a highway.
But maybe you can explain something to me about that, because I'm always confused. The people who prefer, because obviously some people prefer it to be have cars on it. And they say that we're just like city people who don't appreciate that people have to drive to work from the suburbs. But is that what it is? It's just commuting?
And I have sympathy for people saying that they struggle to in transportation. I think the reality is when you see studies, most of the people that drive here, they're crossing the city most often. They're people that are alone in their cars, and I think we're just in a period where that's not possible anymore. We can't continue to have people taking huge cars that consume a huge amount of fuel and have I'm an economist, so I often talk as an economist. I talk of external negativities, which is externalities. Sorry, I talk of negative externalities, which is the fact that when you take your car, you're actually creating costs for everyone, health costs, fuel costs. But we have to work on transportation. I think we've done it, and we have to increase constantly transportation, which is why we're creating all those. You can see here, if you see that bike lane here. So we've put bike lanes pretty much everywhere. Small ones like this one, and the huge ones on behind me in Rue de Rivoli.
I've noticed that on Rue de Rivoli.
There's actually a big two-way bike lane right there on Seine River. We can see it from there. We can see some bikes over there.
So just for all the listeners who are sending in questions, we have to have this walk done at 12:30. So if we stop, Monsieur le Mayor, I want everyone to encourage us to keep going, because otherwise we'll both be late for our important.
I I find is pretty cool. I was here yesterday with my technical services of the city, watching a number of installations, and this is the lawn being prepared for the spring.
So it's all going to be grass along where
So
the.
they're redoing completely the lawn. We've just renamed this garden over there. That's called the Jardin Federico Garcia Lorca, after the name of a Spanish-speaking poet. And
It's not every day that you name things after people who aren't
Yeah.
French, right?
Oh yeah, we do that. We do that quite often.
But
Actually,
not-
we did it in the Marais just about a month ago. We named after Mark Ashton, a LGBT rights activist,
That's right. That's right.
anti-AIDS activist, and we named the garden of a beautiful public library. But let me just show you. So, Jim, tell you something about the lawn. So,
Please.
the lawn was there's a lot of pedestrians, so it wasn't in a good shape. And so I talked yesterday to the gardeners of the city,
Yeah.
and they told me that they're changing the soil. Basically, they're making it a little bit thicker and more resistant, and they're hoping that in next spring, when people start to flock here in big masses, it's going to be more resistant. But right now, it's beautiful.
I'm looking
Surrounded
forward to it.
by
How do I get a street named after me in Paris? What do I have to do? Who do I have to befriend? And how long does it take?
Well, you have to be you have to take a big commitment to citizens. You have to do something for the city and do something for the people.
I've got more comments coming in. Horatio Nelson, I don't believe that's his real name, just adds that the temperature in Newcastle, Australia is 35 plus degrees.
Wow.
What a difference from Chicago. Speaking of Newcastle, which way are we going, by the way?
So we just
This
finished
way?
the first bridge, and now we're going to go over to the second bridge. So the reason, I don't know if I should explain the reason there are three bridges to go from the right bank to the left bank in a precise spot of the city, and it's the only place in Paris where you need three bridges to go from one side of the Seine River to the other. And the reason is that we're actually going to go through the two islands in the center of Paris.
The island
And the
connector.
tips of both islands are meeting only, they're sort of overlapping only here.
That's great.
And because they're overlapping, you actually jump from, you hope basically from the right, the right bank
Yeah.
to the Ile Saint-Louis. We're now crossing the Ile Saint-Louis from one bridge to the other.
So does this count as are we on the right bank or the left bank now?
We're now, I think technically we're in the right bank because this is still the 4th district.
It does, you can see up there.
Saying
that
very
says-
proudly.
Oh, yeah, that's why we're here, right? But then is that the 3rd district across the bridge?
No, it's still going to be the 4th district.
We got a question, a very good specific question, but I want to finish what I was just saying before. Speaking of Newcastle, Australia, the upcoming guest is one of the showgirls from the Moulin Rouge, and she's from Newcastle, Australia. So that will be Monday's podcast episode. Are you going to listen to it, Ariel?
Yes, I
Mr. Mayor?
would try if I have any slot in my pretty busy schedule.
Have you been to the Moulin Rouge?
I have been there once.
Right.
Yes.
That wasn't
But
this-
actually not for a show at the Moulin Rouge, for a conference or another show that had nothing to do with
That's slightly less
visual show.
exciting.
Yes.
Hey, I've got a comment from James McPherson. He says, will any of the 2024 Olympics be in the 4th?
So there won't. I think there will be some activities. All of the water stuff. So I think rowing will be on the Seine River, and there will be some other things, and some shows around the Olympics will be there. We actually had some amazing shows. I think we can see that. You can see that bridge over there.
Yep.
Le pont de l'Archevêché. So that bridge over there.
How do you pronounce it? L'Archevêché?
L'Archevêché,
Oh my
because
goodness.
of it's leading up to Notre Dame,
Right.
and Notre Dame is the bishop, the archbishop.
Archbishop.
Basically, it means archbishop.
How do you say again?
Archevêque.
Archevêque. Oh my
And
goodness.
Archevêché is where the bishop lives, and so it takes up there. So that bridge over there, you can see, is we had an amazing in the sort of the shows around preparing the Olympics. We had amazing jumps from that. I don't know how to say. They jump with the stick. When they jump with the stick, what do you call that?
What do you mean, like
when they jump
yeah.
bars?
pole vault?
Yeah.
You mean? No,
When they they jump up, the guys that run and
in the athletics,
Yes.
and they land on the thing.
Exactly.
Pole vault. It's
Yeah.
called. Yeah. But they were doing
so-
that on the bridge.
Yeah. We had the French masters there, and they had
Wow.
another thing where they installed a running set on the Seine River. But what we'll see in 2024 is we'll see some games, some water games on the Seine River.
That's going to be
That's
exciting. I
nice.
hope it doesn't flood again. Do you remember? So when it flooded last time, it got
Yeah.
higher than that point there. That woman standing down there
Yes.
would have been underwater.
She would. In fact, you can see the differences in the stone And just right here, look, you have those little scales there, and they show you.
Yeah, let's get closer
They
to
show
that.
you where the Seine River is going up to. There wasn't any like major flood that up to the streets of the city since 1910,
Yeah.
which was the major flood. But the city is getting prepared all the time. We have
There's the scale. Yeah.
we have a task force that's preparing for resisting all sorts of attacks in the city, including a big major flood.
Because the Louvre will flood and then the Mona Lisa will get moldy, and you can't have that. That would be
I
no
have a
good.
secret project right now with the guy who's heading the city task force on that.
Hang on,
to,
secret project?
A
Let's hear
secret
more.
project to actually train volunteers. You know, in Paris we like to enroll people in volunteer programs where most notably we've had a lot of people showing up for solidarity.
Right.
The nights of solidarity, when people came in and they went to walk around the neighborhood and talk to people that sleep on the streets.
Right.
On the same pattern, we're asking for people that want to commit and get engaged, and we will have the people that want to be volunteers for preparing Paris for any sort of massive crisis like a flooding or other types of attacks. So we're now finished with walking down the second bridge.
I just
So-
assumed we'd be heading this way.
Yes. So now what we've done is we've just crossed the second bridge, and we've gone from the Île Saint-Louis, the island, one of the islands, to the second island. We're now on the Île de la Cité, which, as you know, is the cradle of Paris, as Victor Hugo put it. He said that's the berceau of Paris. Paris was born here.
Right, okay. And in fact, I don't know if I even showed that building there.
What's that small building there?
Do you think the Notre Dame looks nice from this side, or do you think it's better from the other side? Do you have a preference?
It's tough. I love both sides. I think this one has a lot more details that you can focus on.
Yeah.
It shows the amazing complexity of the. It took more than a century to build this
That's
completely.
insane. That's insane.
And as you can see from the scaffolding,
Yeah.
we're constantly repairing
More
and
like,
fixing.
more like 20 centuries to build. Hang on, 10 centuries. Look, I just found the word that you were saying before.
L'archevêché,
So
yeah.
people trying to pronounce it along with me, l'archevêché. Shall we cross that bridge? Do you have the time as well?
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
So that brings up a good point. Mr. Mayor, you speak excellent English, and that's not common for a typical Frenchman, I think. If I could be forgiven for
I
saying
think
so.
people my generation now, you see, it used to be a cliche about France that they don't talk English. I think that's no longer true, especially in a big city like Paris. However, in my case, my father actually grew up in New York. Not that we really spoke English, but I did spend quite some time in the U.S. I got educated in the U.S. partly. So
Right, and you studied at Harvard, right?
yes, that's right.
So that's I've got a lot of questions coming in now. That's why I'm losing my train of thought. But Brian Fitzgerald in Australia says, "What's the best thing about being mayor?"
I think that as a citizen, a lot of people, I was just talking about all the volunteers and the people wanting to do things for the city. We have tons of them. I was one of them for many years, and that was on top of my job. And now I get a lot more sort of leeway. I get a lot more springs that I can action to deliver stuff for the city and for the people. So as mayor, you get, and it's funny because I see some mayors saying, "Oh, I know we don't have enough power," but we actually have a lot of stuff that we can do. As long as you know how to manage projects, I think you can use the amazing resources in Paris. We have engineers, public servants, people that have so much expertise from the people that manage. I was talking about the people that manage the gardens in Paris, and they have so many specialties. They know how they can explain to you for hours how they do that. From the people that run the bridges, that run the paveway. It's amazing how much resource we have. And so, as a mayor, if you're trained as I am, I'm an unusual mayor. I'm not a professional politician. I wasn't doing this for the past 20 years. I was actually working in a big firm. And so if you apply project management rules, you get a lot out of the city and back to the citizens.
Here's another question. Good answer. I just want to show this as well while we're standing here. I hope that answered your question, Brian, and keep sending those questions along. And someone calling themselves Lovely Lena which is
Alina?
my wife actually. In fact, she filmed us last time we did the workshop. But she says, do you get access to places that aren't open to the public? And if so, can you tell us about them?
Yes, I actually do. I go sometimes under, and that's something maybe we could take you there. We could actually take we could take your audience to one of those shows. Yes, sometimes we get under the city. We get to the what do you call it? The gutters of the
sewers.
City,
Les égouts?
Yeah.
The problem with that is the internet will be bad down there.
Yes, that's possible. But there was a lot of resistance there during the war, as you know.
But I would love that. Guys, if you're interested in that, get active right now with your comments and tell us what else can you show us.
But we could show you the Tour Saint-Jacques. We could do a show. We could show you Tour Saint-Jacques.
So Tour Saint-Jacques is the big.
So the Tour Saint-Jacques is well, you can't see it right now. It's almost as old as the Notre Dame.
Right.
And we had a ceremony the other day there where we unveiled some dedication ceremony. But basically there you can take it. They have people going up. We've restored it. We spent quite an amount of money to restore that massive piece of heritage in Paris. It's where people start their pilgrimage to when they go to Lourdes or they go to Saint-Jacques de Compostelle.
So we're like a Catholic kind of thing? Or?
Yes, there are many people around the world that start their trip, their journey over there, and you can actually go up, but only a few people at a time. And so everyone can do that, but you have to register a certain period of time.
But that doesn't sound like a secret thing. You're just showing me a tour attraction.
It's not secret, but it's very difficult to get in. There are only a few slots.
Can't you show me like the King's Golden Room or something like that? Surely you have access.
Now, what I do is I like to go to construction sites. So before it's reopened, I go to check that it's working well, that there are not mistakes being made. That we know as a local mayor, I know. I have a lot of people that have the history of this neighborhood, and so they will tell me we have to do this way. So what I do is often I will see places before they're made open to the public, but there's no reason I should be going to places that will forever remain secret. So the secret is only temporary.
True. Fair enough. There's people are saying there's comments coming in that I didn't even read. Underground would be fun even if not live, so I'm up for that.
Okay. That's a deal.
We got someone watching in Paso Roble in California. Ever been there?
In Paso Roble, no. In California, many times.
And then let's keep walking back now because I see it's 20 past.
We're done. Yeah, exactly. We're actually at the very end of my district.
Are you feeling uncomfortable because we're in the 5th?
I'm feeling very comfortable because I grew up within all these districts in the center of Paris. I'm extremely comfortable in the center of Paris. That's where I grew up as a child. I know this by heart. You can blindfold me and I would still find my way.
Do you ever do this thing that we're looking at?
Yeah, this is a bateau mouche.
I like to wave to them and see if they wave back. No one's waving. Come on, I'm waving like an idiot up here.
I think they're all inside because it's so cold.
Look, we got a waver! Woo! 2 wavers! Oh wow. They don't know that they were waving to the mayor. Typical.
No, but they care.
Well, maybe they do.
So this is the Les Jardins. This is the square. It's named for a garden.
This one here.
Yeah, Jean 23, after the name of a pope, Jean the 23rd.
Right.
And it's basically the garden of Notre Dame, but it's open to the public. We have many gardens that are open to everyone here.
There's I noticed there's horse manure on the street there.
Yes, and it's coming from.
Or is it rat manure?
This is produced. No. This is horse manure, and it comes from the forest. It's actually produced in the forest district, and it's from the horses of the Republican Guard. I'm talking to you earlier about. I'm pretty proud of having the headquarters of the Republican Guards. The Republican Guards are serving and protecting the palaces of the Republic.
So do they dress differently as well? Like, how would we recognize the Republican Guard?
So, well, when they're serving in the most, the biggest attire is when they have those. They have the what do you call it? The air is coming down from the helmet.
Oh yeah,
the shiny
like
golden helmet.
Yeah.
They're in the full gear. But when they're training their horses, you could see they have a pretty standard gendarme sort of military attire. And we see them, actually the inhabitants here are very fond of them. They're very attached to the Republican Guards training their horses around the district. And yes, they leave some sometimes they leave some souvenirs.
Yeah, right. I've got. Do you know that the Hôtel de Ville is my favorite building in the city?
Is it?
Yeah, I love it. I don't know why. I think it's one of those buildings that you can just look at for a long time.
Yes.
You know, like
central.
like the Eiffel Tower. You look at it and you're like, yeah, I get it.
Oh, here is we talked about the Tower Saint-Jacques. No, that's this is the Tower of Saint-Gervais.
This one here.
This is the church that we saw when we were Rue des Bars earlier. We saw the side
Right.
gate to it.
I was reading
back-
about it
the back
today.
gate.
It was bombed in the World War
Oh
One
yes, and there was
during
the
a Good Friday mass.
Yes, absolutely, and some people died. And there was actually
88. I read it this morning.
yes, there were some exhibition. There was an exhibition with pictures commemorating these events that were put just in front of my city hall
Right.
just a few months ago.
I've got about 5 questions, so you're gonna have to answer them quickly because
Go ahead, shoot.
because otherwise we'll never get through them. Okay. What's your favorite coffee shop? Says Brian.
That's a tough one. I know you and I actually disagree on this, right? We don't disagree. We both have one that's close by. I'm very biased towards the. There's one that I really like. It actually is a roastery,
Yeah.
right? So they burn their own coffee. First of all, they have their own coffee. They own a couple of plantations. They get coffee to grow. They grow coffee. They get it imported here.
It feels like you're sponsored by them or something.
Be careful.
Is it Café Tech you're talking about?
Yes, absolutely, and I've been going there since they opened. But the truth is, I go to many cafes. I have likings to many cafes in this area, and in fact I do. And you should come maybe one time. I invite everyone. I do the Café du Maire. I launched that as soon as I was elected. Once a month, I meet people in a cafe,
Yeah.
and I wanted to do that because we're all very accustomed to going to cafes, but also because there are some people that will never come to the city hall to talk to me, and they have things to ask about.
That was me almost getting hit by a green
We
car.
don't have that many cars here, but I do the Café du Maire every month.
But
and
where?
every
It's
month-
just a random cafe.
Yeah, I mean the last one I was actually in this cafe.
I've got to
Over
say
there, the Rue
something,
Tessia.
Monsieur le Maire. That was a
Yes.
long answer.
Sorry.
That
too
was,
long.
no. But I gotta ask everybody's. There was one back a bit ago. What's there to do in February in this area? I guess someone's maybe planning to come here.
In February.
Yeah. Is there anything coming up next month?
There's stuff all the time. I mean, there's stuff coming up all the time. You have to look it up. There's always stuff going
That's
on
true.
in Paris.
You can never really go wrong, I think. Hang on. So here's one from James coming in. Will there be any events next year in the 4th to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the liberation of? I can't see the rest of the comment. So I don't know what you're talking about. The 75 years liberation of. So finish that comment, James, so I can see it, and then we'll ask the question. Well, we'll pause that question.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Because Facebook
75 years back.
won't let you read the long comments for some reason. But let me just take it while you're finishing that comment, James. I want to say something that I know from this spot.
Yes.
Because I watched the Mission Impossible movie as well, and there's a scene, if you guys watch it at home, where Tom Cruise is on a motorbike right here, and he's zooming really quickly. They must have shut the whole street off, and he zooms down. And I was watching. I was like, wow, that's right near the Peloton Cafe where we're walking towards. And then they cut it, and then 1 second later he was in Belleville or something like that.
I'm not going to comment on the plot of that movie. Sometimes it escapes me, but the scenes are beautiful, especially in Paris. I think they're even more beautiful in Paris. They're amazing. He's on that bridge, and I said earlier, he also takes at some point the Rue des Bars,
Yes.
which is the tiny
Yeah.
street. He takes it up with full speed, and he jumps over the.
Did you enjoy watching it, the movie?
I like the scenes in Paris. I thought Paris was shown in its beauty, and that was great. I think if you don't concentrate so much on the plot, but on the pictures,
No.
it's a great movie.
But we've got the rest of the comment. It's quite obvious, James, but sorry that I didn't figure it out. 75th anniversary of the liberation of Paris, obviously World War II.
Yes, so
It's hard to do maths and a walk show at the same time, isn't it?
it's tough. I was trying to compute 45 plus,
Yeah, me too. And then I was thinking about Mission Impossible at the same time. I was thinking, what number
It's
Mission
actually
Impossible are we
44,
up to?
and he's right because it's 44. The liberation of Paris. Not the end of the world is 45. But yes, every year, in fact, we celebrate it with the mayor of Paris. We have a garden that was named, talking about naming things after strangers or foreigners.
Yeah.
We have the garden of the what used to be the private garden of the city hall of the mayor of Paris.
Oh, right up on the corner
And
there.
they're now open. Yes,
Yeah.
the mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, decided to open them to everyone.
Yeah.
And they're called the Jardin de la Nueve. La Nueve is the name of that battalion or unit from Spaniards mostly that liberated Paris. There's a little bit of a controversy over who were the first ones to free up Paris, to enter Paris. And I think the controversy is between a French battalion and a Spanish one. And in any case, that garden over there, the garden over there where we have a ceremony is named after the La Nueve, that unit.
What is the time, Monsieur le Maire? Do you have it on you at the moment?
I forgot the time. I didn't look at the time. It was so
12:28. I think we gotta wind this video up right here with the river behind us. I think is perfect because we both have engagements coming up. But if you stand on that side of me,
so I can tell you one thing: is we're preparing the summer. When the summer comes here, there will be tons of people on the banks of the Seine River. Again, we've made them open to the pedestrians again. And yesterday, I just want to tell you, but somebody was asking me about my life as mayor. Yesterday morning in the cold, I met a gang of people from the city. Well, I can tell you that this is pretty secret. No one knows that publicly, so I'm making
it's okay. It's a secret group.
a breaking out news is we're working over that. You see that door that was over there.
Yeah.
We're making that a restroom for the summer, so we're preparing major works because it's pretty hard to do that on the lower banks of the Seine. We're doing major works so that we will have by the summer some public restrooms.
So you're going to drill sort of into the wall there where I'm pointing.
We're going to drill a little bit, but it's mostly going to be outside, and we're going to have a true full restrooms we're going to have for everyone.
There you go, something to look forward to when you come for a long walk. I'm looking forward to when it's summer and everybody's rollerblading and skateboarding and walking along there. But you guys, we got to go. You've been watching Monsieur le Maire, Ariel Weil from the 4th arrondissement, the mayor. Thanks for being on the walk show.
Thank you for inviting me.
And we'll see you again when you take me to the secret
places.
Secret places. Send a comment, let us know, and I'm going to let you in this group so you can watch the video and answer any more questions. So keep sending them, even if you're watching it on the replay. Merci beaucoup. Everyone's saying thank you from around the world. So thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. Good morning to those that wake up now.
And good evening to those falling asleep.
Notre Dame is behind us.
Oh yeah, perfect way to finish.